To be or not to be? That is the question. No! I've got a casualty. I'm getting plant parent. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today we're going to be talking about the Epipremnum. Tongue twisters. Why are all the Latin names tongue twisters? We're going to be talking about the Epipremnum Aureum, better known as the POTHOS. No, the sun went away. The sun might come in and out. Thank you, autumn. So this one right here I've got is a golden POTHOS. I also have two other varieties. I have the Marble Queen POTHOS and a POTHOS Enjoy. Yeah, I've got three different types. I'm not gonna be able to hold them all, so maybe I'll try and put them in the background of this video that I'm doing. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but it'll just be right there, and that's just gonna be that. Yeah, I've got three different types. Four if you count Satin POTHOS. I know I've made a video on that one before. Technically, it's also a POTHOS, but they're still kind of a different variety and they have slightly more particular needs. So I figured I would do one on the more general POTHOS experience, and hopefully it helps. The most common one you'll see of the three I've got is definitely this golden POTHOS right here, also known as Devil's Ivy. It's pretty freaking common. You see it a lot. It's characterized by the dark green leaves with yellow variegation. Mine doesn't have all that much variegation. There's a little bit here and there, which some of them have loads and loads and loads of variegation, and that's just because they're getting a little bit more light than mine might be getting. But overall, there's loads of different types of POTHOS, and they all have pretty similar care needs with some variation, which I'll tell you later. But they're also pretty easy to care for, golden POTHOS being definitely the easiest, the most versatile of the bunch, and that's why it's one of the more common. It's super easy to take care of, one of the easiest, probably beginner houseplants. So if you're looking for something that's on the trailing side, as you can see, this one is got two long trails. Oh my gosh. No! I've got a casualty. I just lost a leaf. Like out of the blue. Well, whoops. I'm getting plant parent. Okay, but as you can see, it's got these long trailing tendrils, but you can also train them to go up a moss pole or a trellis or a wall or something, and if you do that, they'll end up having bigger leaves as well. They also grow really fast. In the summer, they just kind of boom, shoot out new growth constantly. So I think at the beginning of the summer this year, it was probably a foot or 30 centimeters or so shorter, which is pretty crazy. It's really grown a lot, and it's really enjoyable to watch it grow because it just starts trailing loads. Another benefit of the POTHOS is that they are NASA Clean Air certified, which means they filter out toxins from the air in your house, which is pretty freaking cool. Who doesn't want to breathe in cleaner air? So that's really good. I can't remember off the top of my head what all those toxins are that they give off, but I'll put a list up here, so you'll know exactly which ones that they're filtering out, so you can breathe cleaner. That was really weird. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. So before we get into the information portion of this video, I'd like to say if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really does help, and leave a comment on other things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and hopefully I can get around to all of them, and subscribe for more videos. So without further ado, let's get into it. To be or not to be? That is the question. Can you even see that this is a skull? This is a skull. I got it at Halloween last year. Not the plant, just the skull pop, but it's one of my favorites. I like how it's kind of got a hairdo going on. When it comes to watering your POTHOS, you want to do it pretty regularly in the spring and summer, probably about once a week, maybe a little bit more often if you live somewhere that's quite hot and dry. In the autumn and winter, probably bring it down to maybe once every week and a half or so. maybe even less if it doesn't need it. I do test the soil to make sure it is dry with my finger, but I also look for visual cues when it's time to water my pothos. Their leaves start to wilt, and that is pretty common across most of the varieties. I think I use that clue for all of them. If the leaves start to get a bit sad looking and wilty and soft, not like miscoloring or anything, but just a little bit droopy, it is good to give them a good water because it probably means that they're thirsty. I can also kind of feel the bounciness of the leaves. So I watered this one yesterday, so it's quite bouncy. It kind of bounces back quite a lot, and it gives a little bit of resistance when you're touching it. But when it is thirsty, there's a lot less resistance. They're kind of a bit softer and wilted. Also, they tolerate drought a lot better than they tolerate overwatering because they are prone to root rot if the soil stays too moist. So try not to let them sit in water after watering because they really don't like that. They can develop root rot and die, and we don't want that. Some signs of overwatering are the leaves turning like a dark brown or black and mushy, basically rotting. So look out for that if you do like to water your plants a lot. Try and make sure that you're not overwatering because I know it's hard, but you gotta learn. If you wanna have houseplants, you gotta learn not to overwater them, which is probably one of the hardest things for many plant owners. When it comes to light, they can tolerate quite a range of lights, but they're best suited for bright indirect light, like a lot of other houseplants. They can tolerate low light as well, but they don't like it as much. The variegated kinds can start to lose their variegation if they're put in too dark of a place because the parts of the leaves that are actually creating the power for the rest of the plant is the green bits, and if there's not enough light, the plant needs more green bits in order to power the whole plant. And so if all of their leaves have loads of this white or yellow variegation, they're not producing any energy. So they will revert back to green in order to keep the plant alive. So I think that's one of the reasons why this one doesn't have a whole lot of variegation, because it was in quite a dark spot. Also, the variegated kinds like the Marble Queen and the Pothos and Joy I have over there want more light in general than the Golden Pothos will. They just need more because they have more white or yellow in their leaves, and so they prefer it to be brighter than this one. So this one can handle quite a lot of darkness, whereas these need more light. But still no direct sunlight. They don't like that, and it will scorch their leaves and they could eventually die, which we don't want, so avoid that if possible. So all of my pothos at the minute are actually living on a shelf that's kind of adjacent to my window but above it in the living room. I think they like it there. It's probably not their summer home because that area would get too much light, especially once they're trailing down quite a lot like this one is. Also, they are getting a little bit of supplemental light from the grow light that I got in that video a couple ago. I think they're okay with that, getting just that little bit of supplemental light. It's not directly on them, but it's kind of at them from afar. If they are getting too much light, their leaves will turn like a white or yellow color, which is bad. So yeah. When it comes to temperature, they can tolerate quite a range of temperatures. In your home, they're probably comfortable if you're comfortable. If you want to know exact numbers, their ideal is between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius or 59 to 77 or so degrees Fahrenheit. They really, really don't like it if they drop below 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit. They will stop growing and could be stunted, which would be sad. When it comes to humidity, they do quite like quite a lot of humidity, but they can also tolerate without it. They don't need it. I probably add a little bit extra humidity to them by the form of misting, which some people say isn't really helping with humidity, but so far they're okay. I mist them every few days and they seem to like it and not dying, so I'll take it. When it comes to soil, they're not super picky about the soil they're in as long as it's well draining. that's fine and they'll be happy with that. They do like to be in a pot with drainage holes, which I've got here. I've got my typical decorative pot, drainage pot situation in order to make sure that they're getting the drainage they need. Some varieties will need repotting a little bit more often than others, like the golden pothos grows quite quickly and will need a new pot sooner than the marble queen pothos, which I swear grows like a snail. I barely even notice it. I got these around the same time and they were about the same size, and I mean, look at the difference in these vines. I tend to repot when I see that there's roots coming out of the bottom, or if I pull it out of the nursery pot and the roots are starting to wind their way around the bottom, that means they need more space. Also, you can tell if they stop growing completely in the summer, that means they need more room to grow. If they stop growing in the winter, that's totally fine. They're just having a relaxation period rather than trying to push out new growth. Only worry if it's summer and they've stopped growing. When it comes to fertilizer, they like it, but they don't necessarily need it. I think I fertilized all of these probably about once a month in the spring and summer, not at all in the autumn and winter, and they seem to be fine. I use my typical half-strength Miracle-Gro because that's what I've got. They seem fine with it. They've been pushing out lots of new growth, like I even have new growth now and it's autumn, so you know, I'll take what I can get, and so far it's pretty good. When it comes to propagation, it's super easy to do in both water and soil. All you need to do is take a stem cutting. You just want to make sure that you've got 1 or 2 nodes within each of those cuttings, because the nodes are where the roots are going to end up growing out of. You can tell where a node is by looking for a joint where the leaf is coming out of. Also, there's often a little knobbly bit, which is kind of the start of an aerial root, some of which grow quite intensely, like in this Pothos and Joy. I've got quite intense aerial roots coming out, and those are useful in propagation because I could stick those straight into soil and it would start growing from there. Or you could throw your cutting in some water and watch the roots grow like that, which is my preferred method because I like to see things grow because I'm nosy and I want to make sure that they're doing all right. And if I propagate in soil, I just have to pull them out every 5 minutes because I want to see if they've grown more. So that's just a personal preference and you can do it how you want. One of the only downsides to pothos is that they are toxic to humans and pets if ingested, so don't eat them and don't let your kids or pets eat them and you'll be okay. I feel like most houseplants are toxic to people and pets. I know not all of them are, but I feel like a lot of them are. Some of my favorite ones are. So good thing I don't have little people or pets running around trying to eat my plants. Don't eat your plants and you'll be fine. So that's it. That's all you need to know in order to take care of your very own pothos, whatever type they may be. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up down below, or if you didn't and you just wanna give me a thumbs up, that's also totally okay. So if you did, thumbs up. If you didn't, also thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up no matter what. Just do it. Do it right now. I'll give you some time to do that. Okay, have you done it? Nice, cool, thanks. Very much appreciated. Also, leave a comment on other houseplants or houseplant things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! I love my plants. There's too many of them. This is the most awkward thing to hold, but I'm gonna do it for you. Should juggle them. No, that would be bad. So everywhere. Okay. I think I've done it.